Hello, Shaky here, and we are going to create a massive electronics factory in Big Ambitions today. We're going to try to create a factory that produces 12,000 items per week, which is basically 2,000 of each one of the items listed here that the electronics factory can make. The earbuds and the Rhythm by Trey can actually be imported, but since they're on the list, we're going to manufacture them anyway. We can take a look at the Artie Fish phone here. It has a recipe that requires all these ingredients here and all these machines, and it basically makes these parts that are finally turned into the phone. So it requires an audio module, a circuit board, a molded part, and a screen. These parts are then assembled together in a consumer goods station at the end to create the final product, which is the Artie Fish phone. All products basically have similar processes. We're going to make 4 separate factories, one that creates the screen, one that creates the molded parts, one that creates the circuit boards, and one that creates the audio parts. And then in the end, we're going to combine them, ship them all into one factory, and then combine them in one giant factory, making the 12,000 parts per week. I'm going to try to keep a tally of how much we spent getting this project up and running. I suspect it's going to be upwards of $10 million, but we shall see. We can check BizMan here. I'm only selling earbuds in one location right now, and I'm only selling 78 per week. So if I'm making 2,000 of these, that should be enough to last us a very long time. As we expand our electronics factory, if we'll need more, we can check out our rivals here. The top guy here, we are number 3 right now. Number 1 here is this guy, and he is basically making 3 electronics stores here, and he is making about 1.3 million per week on electronics alone. So we're going to hopefully compete with that process. Okay, in order to start this process, we're going to need some warehouses. We're going to need 4 warehouses to make the intermediate parts and 1 large warehouse to make the final product. So we'll start with the screens. The screens are probably the smallest factory of all, so we could probably just buy one of these that is about 1,292 meters. So we will look for a small warehouse that size. Okay, for the screen factory, we're going to purchase this small right here. Is 1,292 square meters. Open that BizMan. Now it's going to cost us $43,000 to start that one. We're going to rent this building. We're going to start a new business. We're going to call it a warehouse. It's actually going to be a factory, and we're just going to do Fact Screens. Start that business. Okay, next up we're going to need a factory for the molded parts. That is like the plastic parts that make up the base of the products. We're going to use this one right here, 2,184 square meters. Can take a look at it. It's kind of a nice big open space here. Kind of just weird that this is in the middle, but we'll make it work. Let's go ahead and rent this building. This is going to cost us $71,000. Rent that. We'll start a new business. We will start a factory, and we will call this one Fact/Molded. Start that business. Next up, we need the circuit board factory. That's going to be this factory right here. I'm just trying to keep everything in this area so it's nice and easily located. Open this one, BizMan. We are going to rent this one. This one's cost us $58,000. Call that a factory. We'll call it Fact Circuit. Confirm that. Then we need another factory for the audio modules. That will be this factory right here. That is $66,000. Fact Audio Mod. Nice. And finally, we need a warehouse to assemble all the finished parts. And this is the largest one I could find. It is 2,610 square meters. There might be a bigger one up here, but it's going to work for now because I want to keep it in this area. We can open this in the BizMan, check it out real quick. It looks relatively similar to the other ones, maybe a little bit bigger. We're going to rent that one. That is $69,000 basically. Start a new business, start a factory, call it Fact Electronics. Okay, that brings our current total to $312,000 that we spent buying factories. Next up, we're going to go purchase a truck, I think, so that we can more easily carry stuff from factory to factory without having this. This has a limit of 8 items per car, so we need something that has a bigger capacity so that we can set this up easier. Okay, we're going to pick up this Mercedes Dash. This is has a little bit larger cargo space than our Honda Mimic. That way it's easier to transport stuff around the map as we're setting stuff up. We're going to buy our company purple color here, $48,000. We could buy the big truck, but that is going to be impossible to find parking with, so we are going to stick with this one for now. Purchase that one. And we are going to head to our first factory, the screen factory. Alright, we need to get some supplies for this factory, so let's grab the Fact Screens. Saturday delivered tomorrow, that's fine. Add some items. We are going to need the laser cutting machine. That is how we do the glass. So we'll need 4 of these. Those are $280,000 a piece, so that's over $1 million right there. We also need some input stations and output stations. We need 2 output stations. We need some splitters, we need some conveyor belts, and we need some pallet shelves. We'll probably buy 6 of these. And 2 input stations. So that is $1.2 million right there. Let's go ahead and order that. That'll be here tomorrow. We need $1.2 million for that. I believe we have some money in the bank here. We can just order a payout for here. That's fine. We have $1.7 million now, so that'll get us enough to at least start this next factory. Okay, this factory is pretty straightforward. We just need to make 2 different items here. The screen small and screen medium. So those will take 2 laser cutters each, so 4 machines total. Okay, so here's our relatively simple setup for screens. We have just two input machines here, and they split up down to two laser cutters. These laser cutters will be making medium screens, and these laser cutters will be making small screens, and both these input machines will be bringing in glass. I left this belt open here in case we need to keep expanding it. We can just keep dragging out the glass line down here and put more machines on it, so super simple to expand if we need to in the future. I spent an extra $60,000 in belts while we were doing this, so that brings our total to $1.6 million, and now we need to order some glass. I believe that is Melvin here. Yes, Melvin has glass. Let's cancel this order here. I think we're going to grab 10,000 glass. There's only $2,000, that's not bad. We will assign that to the factory screen. Nice, let's order that. And we're on to the next factory. Okay, the next factory is a little bit more involved. It's going to cost us, I think, around $3 million. So we're going to have to save up some money because we only have $1 million in the bank right now. So we're going to just probably spend some time in the park and work on our happiness while we are waiting for the money to come in. Right now it's the weekends, so we're only making about $200,000. Once the Monday rolls around and our lawyer firms kick back in, we'll be making about $500,000 a day. So it shouldn't take too long, but probably almost a week. While we're waiting to make some money, let's go ahead and hire some factory workers. We're just going to grab the first 4 here. And we will hire those to work in the screen warehouse. Factory screens, confirm that. Yes, and then we'll go to their schedule here, and we're going to make them basically work 6 hours, 7 days a week. So the factory is going to be open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and we're going to do 6-hour shifts. So each employee will be working 42 hours. Let's do this. We'll do 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours, 6 hours. There we go. We will copy that to every day. There we go. Now we're making screens. They do have 10,000 glass in stock, so they should start making them pretty soon. Okay, our next factory, we're going to need some more pallet shelves. Do 6 of those. We're going to need some output stations. We're going to need some input stations. And we're going to need a whole bunch of kilns, and we're going to need 11 kilns. They're $175,000 each. That is already $2 million. And we're going to need some conveyor belts and some splitters. We'll start with 30 conveyor belts. I think we're going to need a lot more than that, but it'll get us started. We'll do 6 splitters. So that is 2.2 million. We have 2.4 million. So just about enough to get us started. Order those. Okay, our kilns have arrived here. Let's go ahead and put some down. They look like this. And you can basically set them to make molded earbuds, molded headphones, molded smartphone, and molded smartwatch. So we're basically going to do, I think, 3 of each machine, 3 for smartwatches, 3 for phones, 3 for headphones. So we'll get those set up here. We'll just put a whole bunch of them out here, and then we'll do enter interior design mode and arrange them accordingly. Alright, then we can click on interior design mode over here, and then we can move freely and move these around as we see fit, and get them lined up how we want them. Alright, here's my molded parts factory design. I started with this design here. This basically has one input station here. It splits it to these both sides here, so this input station is supplying these 2 machines as well as these bottom 2 machines, and then it splits it again over here, and so it's evenly split between all 4 machines. And then I had a second input station over here that just supplies these 2. If we wanted to, we could bump this out and make this supply up to 4 machines up here, but that would be the limit of the system. It would only be 4 machines wide. I tried to make a linear design where it just peels off, but the problem with these splitters is you can see this comes into the middle of this splitter, so everything before this splitter would be half a grid space as to what's after this splitter. To show you this, I've built a simple setup down here. So this is our input. It comes into a splitter, and if you wanted to connect these 2 systems together, you would come back around here, and just to show you that it doesn't connect, you can move this down here, and you can see this is a half a grid space off, so it comes into the middle of that conveyor belt, so these 2 systems cannot hook up. The way around that I fixed that was to just put a second splitter in over here. The problem with this setup is that it assumes that these splitters won't back up, right? Because the top output on this splitter here has nowhere to go, so it's just going to sit here and back up and be dead. As long as everything flows down to the bottom here, it'll be fine. But then these actually hook up. So you can see that works out. And the reason that's important is because if they were half a grid space off, the outputs would not connect, and you would have to have 2 separate output stations for this, where this is all nice and clean. It hooks up to 1 output belt. So the next design I came up with is on here, with that assumption that these 2 splitters aren't going to back each other up. If this works, it'll be great. If not, we'll have to come back to the drawing board and figure out a different design. But this bottom splitter down here has nowhere to go. You can see the orange arrow right here. it has nowhere to go. It's just going to sit there and back up. So as long as that doesn't back up the system, we should be fine. But this system is basically expandable. This out input station could handle up to 6 or 7 of these machines if it could supply them fast enough. But you could just keep building it out down this way, or you could actually mirror this setup to over here and put another system over here and kind of mirror it, and you'd have double the system. So the thing I like about this setup is all the employees are located on one side here, whereas on this setup up here you have to make sure employees have access to both sides. So if you wanted to build something over here, you'd have to make sure that they can still get to this station. And this honestly looks like it takes up a lot of wasted space, so I'm kind of leaning towards this one. I hope this one works. But leave me a comment to know which one you think looks better. And so next up, we need to order some plastic for this system, as well as get some employees. We need 8 employees to make this factory work. You can also see my notifications tab over here. We hit day 180, so every 60 days you owe taxes. So we owe taxes to the IRS in 20 days, which is pretty important because we're spending a lot of cash right now, so we do not have a lot of money. I'm basically spending it as fast as I make it, so I'm going to have to hold off for a day or two, save up some money to pay taxes. We can check out how much taxes are real quick. They're actually not that much because I don't have much money in my bank account, so my tax bill is only $676,000. So it's going to take me about 2 days to make that money. We have up to day 200 to pay it, so after we finish this factory, we will take a break for 2 days, save up some cash, pay our taxes, and come back to it. But while we're here, let's recruit some employees for our factory. Go to Headhunter here. We'll just grab this guy here. He's already set to recruit factory workers, no part-timers. I just left this empty for now. We could turn off the benefit demand, but I don't really care at this point. They're all coming in so low. Like I have this set to 0%, so it's not really recruiting experienced workers. But I'm trying to keep the factory workers low paid to see how that works out. I'm not training them at all. If they get mad and quit, I'll just have them replace them. Tracy White is handling our factory workers. So we will get her recruiting factory workers, start that recruiting process. We'll just do 10 of them, that should be fine. And then we also need to grab the purchasing agent here. And we need to find, I think it's Melvin here. We need plastic here. Hopefully he has plastic on his list. He does right here, so let's cancel this order here. So we're going to need 12,000 plastic to keep that factory operating for a week. We're going to actually make it, I think, 15,000. We're not going to use that right away because we don't have all the employees assigned to it right now. But at least it'll be set up for future. I don't think it's going to cost that much. Yeah, it's only $4,000 for 15,000 plastic. So we need to assign that to the molded factory molded right here. And that'll get us started with plastic as soon as we get some employees in there. Okay, so our current total spend is around $4.1 million that we've spent getting this up and running so far. I'm going to take basically a week break and just sleep all week. 2 days is going to make enough money to pay the taxes. And I'm going to need about $1.5 million to do the next factory, which is the circuit board factory. So I'll bring it back once I have the circuit board factory set up so you can see that, and we'll go from there. Okay, I'm about to place an order for the circuit factory. This is going to be a little bit different because we have a lot of inputs on this one. So we have some conveyor belt splitters, some conveyor belts, pallet shelves, output input stations. We're probably going to need more of these, but I'm just ordering some to get us started, and 6 consumer goods assemblies machines. That's $1 million right there, so that's going to bring our total up to roughly $5.1 million. So that'll be delivered tomorrow. We'll get it set up and be on our way. While we're at it, we'll hire these 8 workers for the molded factory. So let's grab these, hire and assign. Factory molded, right there, nice. Confirm that, we'll get them on the schedule, and we'll get them on the HR manager as well. Okay, at midnight here, the factory should come alive, I believe. Let's unpause it and see. So we don't have any workers. Why don't we have any workers? Oh, it is temporarily closed. Let's open the factory here. Nice, okay. Let's go. Yes, we got workers now. They're gonna take a while to load up all these machines, I think. Yes, this looks okay. Looks like it's working. It just one sticks here and then it just keeps funneling the rest down, so that's perfect. Yeah, and as you can see, this line is way backed up, so we could easily like extend this down here and put these 2 machines on the end of this here and make them, output the other direction. And this looks like it could easily supply those machines, so we could probably get rid of this employee if we want to do. We'll see how it goes. Let's just get the other ones done first. Okay, we're going to have to relocate this factory because there's no way to get in here. The boxes block the entrance here, so we can't get in. So we're going to have to just rent another facility. And unfortunately, I already ordered all the parts there, so we're going to have to somehow either just abandon those parts or get them out of here and bring them over to the next factory. I think we can just rent this one here. It's kind of huge, but it'll keep it in the same area. It is 2,600 square feet, so we'll just grab this one. And it costs us $90,000. So the circuit boards are quite a bit more complicated. They require these 5 ingredients to make one circuit board. So we can look at the machine here. This is the machine that is used to make them. It has 6 different inputs, or 5 different inputs and 1 output. So we're going to have quite a challenge here to hook these up, because like I need 4 of them to make the medium circuits, and I think 2 of them to make the small circuits, or vice versa. I can't remember. But so yeah, so that's going to be the design challenge here. We're going to have to see. I mean, we could just put an input station at each one, but that would be 5 input stations per machine. That's a lot of employees. So if we can somehow cut that down a little bit, but we don't have tunnels or mergers or anything like that, so we're not going to be able to jump belts, so it's going to be very hard to put more than 1 or 2 in a row. Okay, here's kind of what I've come up with. It's basically, we're going to have some splitters in the middle here, so we can at least make this input guy go to 2 machines. We're going to need a group of 4 of these and a group of 2 of these. 4 of them making small, 2 of them making medium. This is the best I can do, really, because we can't jump over belts, we can't do tunnels, so I think we're just going to have to deal with a ton of employees at this factory. Okay, here's our factory. We have these 2 machines are going to be making medium circuits. These 4 machines over here are going to be making small circuits. And basically I have alternating recipes on these. So these, like this bottom station brings in capacitors. This middle station that's centered on the machine always brings in copper clad laminate. And then this one brings in integrated circuits. And then I just basically rotate that through. So this is bringing in copper clad because it's in the middle, and then this is bringing in capacitors, and then if you jump over to this machine here in the middle, it's doing integrated circuits. So it's basically in every other thing in the middle here, and this one that's centered on the machine is always copper clad. So I did something similar on this side, so we have all the necessary ingredients coming to each machine here. So I just have to set the recipe on this machine, and we should be good to go. We also have to bring in all the materials for this, and this is going to require 28 employees. I spent $200,000 more on belts, so that takes us up to 5.3 million. Okay, so if I hover over them, you can see the recipe. These are all the ingredients that it requires, and it makes 1 circuit board medium, and this over here is making 1 circuit board small. So this column is making small, this is making medium. That should be enough to make 12,000 per week. So we just got to order the parts from the purchasing agent now. Okay, let's hit the purchasing agent up here. This is Melvin. He's responsible for most of our stuff here. And we're going to have to buy, like, I'm making 12,000 per week. I'm going to order 15,000, I think. I think we can probably afford that. Let's see how much this order goes up. The order is now basically 15,000. We're going to see how much it goes up. So those are $50,000 right there. The capacitors. And then we need the copper clad laminate. That's 15,000 of those. That's $63,000. And then integrated circuits. Integrated circuits right here. We're going to need 15,000 of those as well. That's $78,000. Resistors. 15,000, and finally transistors, 15,000 of those. So it takes our order total up to about 300,000. That's not too bad. Let's go ahead and order that. Oh, we got to make sure we put a warehouse in each one of these. So these are all going to go to the circuit warehouse. That should be everything. Nice. Okay, that's going to come on Monday. We need to recruit 28 employees for that. I'm just going to start recruiting a whole bunch of factory workers, because I'm probably going to need 50 employees for the final factory. So we might as well just get a whole bunch coming. So let's go headhunter here. Go to factory worker. That's fine. 0%. No part-timers. That's fine. Let's start recruiting. Let's set it to continuously. Next up is our audio module factory. We are going to get some basics just so we can have some stuff to get started. We'll probably have to order more, especially the input and output stations. I'm just totally guessing on those. But we're 12 pallet shelves, some conveyor splitters. I got a whole bunch left over from this factory that I'm going to take with me. Some more conveyor belts, and then 6 consumer goods assembly machines. This one only uses 2 ingredients to make the audio modules. So a speaker and a microphone. I believe that makes up the audio modules, so that should be a little bit simpler than this last one. But let's go ahead and get that started. This will be ordered for tomorrow at 10 a.m. Right, and we'll probably swing through that factory here and make sure it's not blocked off by pallets like this one was. So that factory is right here. So we're just going to have to swing around the block here and see if it's open. Okay, there's the audio module factory over here. It looks like the entrances are not blocked by the pallets, so we should be good there. We're going to swing into the gas station here and repair our vehicle. I got to get better at driving. Only $7,000, that's not too bad. Alright, let's go park, sleep tonight, and we will start it again tomorrow. I've been parking over here. There's spots under the bridge here that work out pretty well for this van. Nice, legal and free, so let's park there and go to bed. Here is the audio module factory. We have these ones making medium audio modules. These are these 3 here, and these 3 here are making small. This is enough to make 6,000 parts each, assuming that we have it operating 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So right now we just have one shift scheduled. We're just starting off small, and if we need to increase our production, we will do so. So this is only going to take 10 employees. This turned out pretty efficient, I feel like. I totally overestimated how much space I needed in these factories, because like I have a ton of room left in this factory. I mean, look at it all. It's huge. So we could add the other stuff later. Maybe if we start doing like jewelry or something like that, we could put some of that in here, or we can just leave it as room for expansion, but we'll see. I guess it's better to have plenty extra space than try to cram it in there. So next up, we're going to move to the final factory, which is where we are going to assemble all the final products. Adding the speakers and the microphones to the order. Our order is now close to $500,000 for Monday, so that's going to be a significant expense there. We only have $720,000, and it is Sunday, so we're just going to have to wait till tomorrow and run a couple days to earn some enough money to do our final assembly plant. I maxed out our order at 100 items here. We have some consumer good assemblers, 12 of those, 50 conveyor belts, some pallet shelves, some input-output stations, and some splitters. So that is $2 million. So that brings our total up to $8.8 million we've spent so far. So this will be delivered at 2 o'clock today. So we'll start putting this together, and we should almost be done. Here's the start of our final assembly electronics plant. This is going to be basically have 6 setups of these because we have 6 different items to produce here. This is producing the RD fish phone. It uses all the pieces that we've just made in the previous factories plus a battery. So we'll just assign these parts to these stations here, and then we will just copy this down here. I'm going to try to just do it along this row 6 times, so that way if we ever need to expand it out this way, we can just add more machines and increase production that way. There's no Control-C, Control-V on this, so we're just going to have to do it one at a time. Okay, we need more parts to finish this up, so we have another $440,000. That brings us up to about $9.2 million. Okay, here we go. We have the noise earbuds here. They only need 6 employees to work it because they only need 3 ingredients. Then we're making the Xanaman phones here, the Xanaman watches here, the RD Fish phones here, the RD Fish watches here, and the Rhythm by Trey headphones here. So we need a total of 52 employees per shift. We're going to have 4 shifts a day, so that's going to be 208 employees just working in this factory. So that's going to be quite extensive once it gets up and running, but that'll give us basically 2,000 of each device per week. I don't think we can sell that much, but we will see where it goes. Okay, so next up we need to hire 5 delivery drivers to handle the warehouses, as well as 5 logistics managers. Those are going to require seats in the headquarters for the logistics managers. So I happen to have 5 seats left, which is how many logistics managers we need. So that's going to work out nicely, but if we need to add anything else to the headquarters, we're going to have to open a second headquarters. And then I'm going to have to hire 52 people to get the first shift operating of the factory, and then we'll set up all the deliveries once we get those people hired. All right, we got 5 delivery drivers here. We're just going to grab the highest 5. They're around 60%. I don't know if that's big enough to drive the big truck, so we're going to give them a day of training each. That'll give them up to 70%, and hopefully that's enough to get them to drive the big truck. All right, these we'll leave them unassigned. From that, we'll go over to training real quick and just sort by tasks. They should show up at the top here, and we can just train each one of them. All right, then we're going to grab a whole bunch of factory workers. As they become available in groups of 10, we'll hire them. That way it's easier to keep track of how many I have. 4, 5, 10. We'll hire those and assign them to the factory. They are going to factory electronics. That is 10. We'll do that 4 more times. Next batch gets us up to 40. We're going to have to wait a day or two now to get some more candidates recruited because we don't have enough to do 10 more. All right, we've got some logistic manager candidates here. We have Nicole. She wants a stump master chair. That's fine. We have those in the headquarters. Clean work environment, we can handle that. Computer monitor, I think we can handle that. Standard office desk, that's fine. We're going to skip Karen because we don't want anybody going to irate in the office here, and she wants a mouse pad. How dare she? And then we have coffee machine. I believe we have that in the headquarters already. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll assign them to the headquarters. That is Shaky Inc. Confirm that. We have to go put them on the schedule, and we have to actually look at our candidates here, and we should have another 12 factory workers available, which will be what we need to complete the thing. So let's just grab the first 12 here. 10, 11, 12. And so we'll hire those. That should be enough factory workers to get us going. Now we have to go to the HR manager and get all these assigned to HR managers. So that's going to be a little bit of a pain in the butt here. I think I have Tracy and Dana doing factory workers. Let's go down into the other ones first, and let's assign the delivery drivers here. 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, the rest of them should be factory workers, so we can just assign them in bulk by hitting the fill button. So let's go back up to Dana here. Assign employees, fill it out. That fills her up, so we're gonna actually need another HR manager for factory workers. That is Tracy and Dana. each have 50 factory workers, so we're over 100 factory workers. Next up, let's hit the schedule up real quick. Let's see if we have 5 chairs in the headquarters left here. I think we do. Here is one. That's an executive one. I'm going to skip that one and we'll come back to it if we need it. We should probably actually do the autofill, so that way they can put who needs to go where in the correct spot. From that, we have Josh here. He does not have a computer monitor, so we're going to have to get one delivered to the office here. Everybody else looks like they're pretty happy. And that is all the desks. We don't have any desks left. See, what I'm hoping I can do is go to the BizMan here, go to the factory, and go to schedule, and we can just turn these off with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. So let's turn the rest of these off. Got a whole bunch of people here that are not assigned in it right now, but we can fix that. Let's go ahead and hit it. See what happens. All right, so that's apparently going to take some time. I don't know why, because there's really nothing to figure out. They just have to put a worker in. All right, we're just going to sit in the park, get some happiness going for a little bit. We have a ton of happiness right now. Like, you can look at my person here right now. I have 86 days of exercise, 79 days of walking in the park, and 84 days of playing video games. So quite a bit of happiness left. I could play for a long time without doing it, but I don't know, I've just become in the habit of doing it, so I just keep building it up. One more rest here, and then we'll head back to the apartment. Okay, I was wondering why the schedule was taking so long on the factory here, but that's because Monday I set the hours up, but I didn't copy it to Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, or the rest of the week. So it definitely had like a hard time trying to figure out what to do with who. So we can actually just go into Monday here and copy the schedule and paste it to all days. Confirm that. And that should be good there now. Everybody should be 6 hours a day, all week long. All right, we're about out of money, so let's hit the sack and get some money for tomorrow. Get up at, I think, 7. Nice, that gives us $476,000 to work with, so we should have yeah, 800,000, so that's great. Let's run outside and rent a scooter, 20 bucks, nice. Let's see if we can drive us up to the truck place. Nice, we're here. Okay, we need to buy 5 of these trucks. We're just gonna buy the big ones so that we have them when we need them. We're going to go with Company Purple. We're going to need 1 for each warehouse, so that would be 5 of them. So it's going to cost $500,000. That brings us right up to around the 10 million mark that we've spent so far. Nice. And we just got to deliver all these trucks. So we're going to buy one at a time because I don't know if I get a parking ticket if I leave 4 here. So let's go. Nice, so that is vehicle number 1 delivered. We got 4 more to deliver. It automatically assigns it to the slot here, so we're good to go. We just need to run back up there and do it 4 more times. Nice. Alright, that's delivery number 2. So we only got 2 deliveries done today, so we're gonna have to go buy 2 more trucks tomorrow. This took a while. Alright, truck number 3. Let's get this one delivered. That is truck number 3 delivered. Warehouse number 4. There we go. Truck number 4 delivered. And we got 1 more truck to get delivered. Let's grab a scooter to get back. My scooter graveyard over here. Oh, that's unfortunate. They closed. Alright, we're going to have to wait till tomorrow. Alright, I came back in the morning. This should be our last truck we need to buy. Purple. Purchase. Nice, that is all 5 trucks delivered. And finally, we just have to go into the employees tab here and locate them and assign them to each warehouse. So Dale here will go to Audio Mod. Derek here will go to Factory Circuit. Screens over here. And he can go to the Plastic Factory. And then we need the Electronics Factory. Nice, then we can just go to each factory in BizMan here and line up the driver. So let's just go Factory, Audio Mod, Drivers, and assign him. That is Dale. Okay, and lastly, we got to go to our logistics managers and assign them to each warehouse. This will be Nicole here. Nicole is going to be assigned to, I guess we'll just do 1 for each warehouse, and then we'll add a new destination for each one. And this will be the electronics warehouse, and she will send over, let's see, microphones and speakers we can leave there, but the audio module, small and medium, I think we'll just do like, let's just do 100 per day for now. Nice, that's that. And we just gotta go down each one and let's add a new plan. Grab a person here, Emily, and we can assign her to the circuit one. Add a new destination, electronics factory, and we'll do, let's see, circuit board small and medium, we'll do 100 of each. That'll be delivered per day, so that should be plenty for us to get going. And finally, one last person here. This is Monica. Monica can actually be assigned to the electronics factory, and we don't have a destination for her yet. We're going to have to set up an electronics store in our district now, finally, and we'll be able to compete. Finally, we can go back to fighting Jessica here. She is number 5, we are number 3. And, she does have a electronics store right here that's making $200,000 a week. So we can open an electronics store at the beginning of next episode. So all those deliveries should happen tomorrow morning, so we can go over to the electronics factory and just make sure everything's working as planned. Let's pull in the electronics factory here. And we can park this vehicle here and get out, and we got to turn on our factory now that it's open. Electronics says temporary closed, so let's open it up now. And that means at midnight tonight we should get a whole bunch of people. We can check our inventory here. We do have 100 of each item here, so it looks like we have all the parts we need. I probably didn't order enough products because they're all going to have to stock each machine to get it started. But there's our employees. They're going to go grab all the stuff. Looks like we're going. Okay, so it looks like each input station can handle a certain amount of inventory. This is 223 circuit boards in stock, so it's going to take a while to stock up all these machines. I don't know how much they can hold, but I don't see any way to limit it. So yeah, it's going to take a couple days to get the stuff in stock at each station, but we'll come back in a week and check it out, I guess. Alright, we have a kind of a problem in our factory here. So it looks like these input stations can buffer 6 boxes of material. So this is holding 1,800 products here. Batteries, 1,800 batteries. But the problem is, like, I have 8 of these battery stations around because each line uses 2 battery stations. So that is 1,800 times 8, which is like 14,400 batteries that I have to have in stock to get these machines operating at their full capacity. Batteries aren't too big of a deal because I'm just importing those, but so the problem is, I designed my circuit boards to only make 2,000 per week. So if I need 14,000 of those, that would be 7 weeks before all the machines are buffered. Once they're buffered, they'll operate fine because I think I've designed it to go through just enough product to keep us operating all these machines efficiently. But until we get that buffer up there, it's not going to work because right now I have my inventory set to 250 audio modules, and this machine down here is hogging all of them. So this machine's not getting any because it says 0 right here, because it thinks there's 250 in stock in the warehouse, which there is, but they're all just sitting down here at this pallet. So this isn't getting any, and it's just compounding throughout the factory because all the products are spread out through the factory and nobody has what they need. So we're going to have to buffer up all these stations to get the factory operating. Once they're all buffered, I think it'll operate just fine, but it's going to take a long time to get those buffered up. So in between episodes, I'm going to work on a solution to that. We will start the next episode with hopefully opening an electronics store and continue our push to get Jessica out of business here. So that's going to do it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.